Just imagine yourself as a 20-something-year-old Japanese petrolhead in the mid-90s. You're lucky enough to have your own car, likely a Nissan because you were so impressed with the company's racing heritage. Probably you even drive a Silvia, dreaming about the next step on the Nissan's hierarchy, a Skyline. Sounds thrilling because GT-R is worldwide known racing superstar. You even had the Godzilla poster in your room as a teenager, or maybe you still do. Then a new generation is unveiled. It's mind-blowing at the first sight. The car looks wider and more aggressive, but the continuity of generations is undeniable. It definitely carries the same DNA. Nissan made a new spacious interior, which feels like a huge step forward. The four-wheel drive Atisa system has been re-engineered to deliver more efficient and safer driving. The four-wheel steering system, now called Super Haikas, has become electric instead of hydraulic. It still has the Godzilla spirit, but evolved. Then you're starting to notice the difference. R33 is bigger than its predecessor and obviously heavier, plus 250 pounds or 115 kilograms to be exact. But it has the same engine as the R32 with the same 280 horsepower output. The car performs well, but it doesn't seem revolutionary at all. And yes, you do follow Nissan's racing program, waiting for a new success. Then you observe how they entered Le Mans and ended on 5th and 10th in 95 and 96. Of course, there were reasons for it, and it's not a total failure, but you were raised with different expectations. Now, in the mid-2020s, you don't need to imagine it that much, but let's just say you are one of the many YouTube viewers watching the videos of some R33 GT-Rs selling for a ridiculously shocking $2 million. Looks like the most expensive GT-R comes from the most underrated generation. You might be asking, what the hell is that? So it's time to discover the story of Nissan's halo car of 1996, the Nismo 400R. The 9th Skyline generation was revealed in 1995, and the same year Nissan announced the Le Mans program, leading us to the rarest of all GT-Rs, the R33 GT-R LM. It was the homologation car for Nissan to compete in Le Mans. Luckily for the Japanese manufacturer, there were no specific quantity of cars to produce. It just had to exist and to be registered, so Nissan didn't go the extra mile and produce just one road car. Today it's kept in the Nissan Museum as a holy grail and cannot be bought, sold, and even driven. The car was detuned from the racing version N1 engine to 305 horsepower, converted to rear-wheel drive, with 6-speed sequential racing gearbox. It featured an enormous 50mm wide-body aero kit, just like the racing car. Inside, it had a regular interior with Nismo steering wheel and checkered seats. 2 more race cars were built for the GT1 class numbered 22 and 23. They entered the 1995 season, but struggled to compete with monsters such as the Ferrari F40 LM and the McLaren F1 GT-R. The number 22 car finished 5th in its class with an overall position of 10th, while the number 23 retired after 157 laps due to gearbox damage. The following year, the best result was 15th overall and 10th in class. Then the technical regulations altered, allowing purpose race cars to enter, so Nissan decided to withdraw GT-R, which was basically a modified road car. To celebrate the big racing participation, Nissan made a special series of 188 GT-Rs called LM Limited. It was a blue-colored R33 with a bunch of carbon fiber parts and memorial badges, but a truly deeply modified special version was about to come. So the same year Nissan introduced our today's video star, the Nismo 400R, the current generation Nissan's halo car. As you can guess from the name, it was produced by Nissan's motorsport division, Nismo. The 400 stands for power and R clearly stands for racing. All the cars were produced in Nismo Omori factory in Yokohama, while the engine was originally developed and produced by Rimax company. Externally, the car was different from the ordinary GT-R with Nismo aero kit and widened arches made specifically for 400R. The car fitted on massive 18-inch LMG T1 wheels, wrapped in 275 Bridgestone performance tires. It also had many carbon fiber parts, including radiator air deflectors, an adjustable rear wing, and a specific bonnet made to improve cooling significantly. Many Nismo badges and 400R signature graphics came indeed. All the suspension was upgraded by Nismo with many parts strengthened all around. including all the bushings, engine and tranny mounts, and massive titanium upper struts. Shock absorbers are Nismo signatured, set with springs which lowered the car down for 25mm, and coming back to carbon fiber, it's exactly what the drive shaft was made of. The R33 GT-R had already used Brembo brakes capable of high-performance duties, so Nismo just had to make it slightly less city-oriented with track-style brake pads. The engine, which has got its own name, RBX GT2, was engineered and produced by Rimac, a high-performance development company based in Yokohama and famous for its racing engineering. The new heart was a stroked-up to 2.8-liter RB26 twin-turbo engine featuring a unique crankshaft and rods, forged pistons, polished ports, high-lift camshafts, upgraded oil system, larger exhaust manifolds, and higher output N1 turbochargers. Nismo produced an upgraded exhaust, a twin-plate clutch, radiator, intercooler, and oil cooling system as well. Despite the 280 horsepower gentleman agreement, the engine developed 400 and 470 newtons of torque, with almost twice increased boost pressure, allowing a top speed of over 186 miles per hour, 300 kilometers per hour, and 0 to 60 sprint in 4.0 seconds. This was a true supercar performance for those days. Just a few top-level models were able to demonstrate such power and acceleration. In this era, the Japanese tuning industry was already at the top level of its development. After revealing the 400R, which was a pinnacle of Nissan's performance cars, almost every single part was available to purchase in the Nismo catalog, even the complete engine. So as you can predict, there are many copies of this car that could be created, and a connection to such a unique car made all these parts extremely valuable. Even now, if you're wealthy enough, you can buy some of these iconic parts even in factory condition, but you will never get an original Nismo factory VIN number badge, which was proudly placed on the radiator frame, proving the authenticity of the true unicorn. Nissan announced the production of 100 units. The price for 400R was about 12 million yen, which was actually in the true supercar playground. For this money, Nissan had to rival with cars like, for example, a bespoke F40, which had outcompeted the GT-R on a French racetrack a year before. It's quite common for performance versions to cost even twice more, but honestly, GT-R was made of the Nissan Skyline, which was basically quite a modest car. The entry-level sedan with single camshaft 2-liter engine didn't work well for the Halo car as a sibling. In the end, they made only 44 units of 400R, not that impressive, right? And overall, when the R32 GT-R was produced in an amount of 45,000 units, Nissan made 3 times fewer R33 GT-Rs. Looks like the R33 found its place in the shadow of its phenomenal predecessor. Of course, it wasn't that successful in motorsports as R32, which was honestly a die-hard to beat. But was there really something wrong with R33? The truth is, R33 was simply better than R32. It had a better made and roomier interior. With improved suspension, steering and 4-wheel drive systems, it was easier and safer to drive. It became more reliable after fixing some of RB26's childhood diseases. Come on, it was the first road car to break 8 seconds on the Nürburgring, which was 20 seconds faster than the R32. It was a more modern car, so not the worse it was. But changes were coming. Late 90s was the era when customers' preferences started to shift, and it was the twilight of Japanese sport cars as a must-have genre for manufacturers, which finally happened in the 2000s, just 10 years later. It's almost 30 years old now, and it's not cheap at all to find a good example of an R33 GT-R. The entry price is 40k USD and up to 250k for a mint condition V-Spec model. But being the pinnacle of this generation, 400R plays on another level. 1 million, 2 million? Of course, all 44 units are safely kept in private collections as true gems. Not all of them are known, and even if they are on sale, it won't be a public deal. Is it overpriced? Well, yes and no. Of course, it is difficult to compare even a factory-tuned but mass-production car to masterpieces like rare Ferraris or Lamborghinis. But Skyline GT-R is undoubtedly a cultural phenomenon. And if the R32 showed its potential to the world, the 400R proved it and widened its boundaries. When Nismo created a monster out of a factory car and teased you flashing the parts catalog afterward, it just makes boys go crazy, you know. Cars like the 400R give you an intoxicating illusion of attainability, even if it's a car that's almost impossible to buy. The 400R is a true old-school Japanese supercar of the golden era, with pure mechanics and a great bloodline, so I would rather leave the question of pricing to the people who can afford it. What do you guys think? Is it okay to drive one daily, or it should be strictly kept as a piece of automotive legacy? Welcome to the comment section below, and if you're not subscribed yet, just push this button not to miss new episodes. I appreciate it.